Lithuania has zero tolerance for drunk driving. Even trace amounts can get you fined or stripped of your license. So when a motorcyclist hit the road under the influence, the police didn't hesitate to respond. And by the looks of it, they don't take chances. The chase came to a violent end when the police officer struck the motorcycle and ran over the rider. Fortunately, the officer wasn't driving at high speed, and the suspect survived, though he sustained several serious injuries. This is the motorcycle that was caught speeding on the highway. When the officer attempted a routine traffic stop, the rider accelerated and initiated a pursuit. The pursuit reached speeds of over 180 miles per hour, creating an extremely dangerous situation. However, it didn't last long, as the motorcyclist was struck by another vehicle. Fortunately, he did not sustain serious injuries. A few days ago in São Paulo, Brazil, a black Hornet motorcycle without license plates fled at high speed after spotting police officers. Just days later, the same motorcycle crossed paths with the officers again, prompting another high-speed pursuit. The suspect was driving recklessly through heavy traffic, reaching high speeds and sideswiping multiple vehicles. Officers made it clear that if given the opportunity to end the pursuit, they wouldn't hesitate to take it. The opportunity to end the pursuit finally came, and the officers seized it. The chase concluded when they successfully forced the suspect off the motorcycle and took him into custody. He was then placed in a patrol vehicle and transported to the police station. What would you have done if you were in the officer's shoes, or even the suspect's? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. On February 12, 2022, a police officer was involved in a pursuit of a 2021 Honda CBR 1000RR. Air support from APD, Phoenix, tracked the motorcycle as it exited onto Spring Street.
I'm right behind him, Phoenix, 197.
Phoenix Air Support continued following the Honda as it reached speeds of 160 miles per hour in a 60 miles per hour zone. At the intersection of Rock Springs Road and Panola Road, the motorcyclist crashed into the rear of a marked patrol vehicle with its lights and siren on. After the minor collision, the rider was taken into custody without further incident. No injuries were reported. A highway patrol officer attempted to stop a speeding motorcycle, but the rider refused to pull over, triggering a high-speed pursuit. The chase lasted over 20 minutes and reached speeds exceeding 120 miles per hour.
That's 66, you turn me through the grass driveway.
Stop. Stop now.
Oh, 95S3, I'm going to be Parkway Railroad.
That's Parkway Railroad.
behind him.
9566, we have the NSO K9 with us now.
95S3, what's the disposition of air? South Washington from 101. Out of 588, westbound Washington from 101. Vehicle PC. Oh, 588, vehicle PC.
When the officer finally had the opportunity to stop the motorcyclist, he took it, bringing the high-speed chase to an end. The rider now faces multiple charges, including evading police, resisting arrest, and driving without a license. In Brazil, an officer spotted a speeding motorcyclist without license plates on the streets. When the officer tried to stop him normally, the suspect suddenly fled, sparking a chase. The suspect drove recklessly, weaving through the streets of Brazil like a maniac at high speeds. He sped and took sharp turns, while the officer did everything possible to catch the motorcyclist. The pursuit ended when the officer caught up with the suspect and stopped him. The suspect then resisted and fought with the officer to avoid arrest, but in the end, the officer successfully detained him. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this pursuit and how it ended. How do you think you would have reacted if you were the officer involved? As you saw, an officer spotted a motorcycle traveling at extremely high speeds. Attempting a routine traffic stop wasn't an option, so the officer had no choice but to initiate a pursuit. The motorcycle reached speeds of over 160 miles per hour, creating an extremely dangerous situation. Even the officer, driving a BMW 540D, struggled to keep up. This was undoubtedly one of the wildest pursuits in Lithuania, but the officer wasn't giving up. Since the officer didn't give up, the suspect realized he couldn't escape and surrendered. The officer handcuffed him and secured him in the patrol car. What a skillful stop at such high speeds. Would you run or give up right away? On April 11, 2021, officers observed a silver motorcycle without a visible tag. When police attempted a traffic stop, the motorcycle accelerated and began fleeing at high speed, weaving between lanes and using the shoulders, reaching speeds over 152 miles per hour. The chase continued with the motorcycle driving recklessly, switching lanes, and passing vehicles dangerously. Due to traffic, the primary position in the pursuit shifted between officers. While attempting to re-enter the interstate via the on-ramp, the motorcycle struck a patrol vehicle and crashed. The driver, Gabriel Luis Rivera, fled on foot, but quickly surrendered. He stated he was in the Army, stationed at Fort Stewart, and admitted to reaching speeds of 187 miles per hour. After being medically evaluated and cleared, he was transported to jail and informed of his charges. In Brazil, officers spotted a motorcyclist riding without a helmet and attempted to initiate a traffic stop. Instead of complying, the motorcyclist fled, triggering a high-speed pursuit.
Here he'll want to run if he gets robbed.
The suspect sped recklessly through the narrow streets of Brazil, weaving through heavy traffic and taking sharp turns at dangerously high speeds. Officers pursued closely, doing their best to stop him despite the challenging conditions.
First gear.
The pursuit came to an end when the suspect, realizing he had no way out, chose to surrender to the officers. He was safely taken into custody and placed in handcuffs. What do you think about this pursuit? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In Brazil, an officer spotted a motorcyclist driving recklessly and attempted a traffic stop. Instead of pulling over, the rider took off, sparking a classic high-speed chase through the streets. The suspect was driving recklessly through the streets of Brazil, making the pursuit extremely challenging for the officer. One thing was certain: if the officers got a chance to end it, they wouldn't let it slip by. The pursuit came to an end when the suspect turned into narrow side streets and managed to evade the officer. Despite searching the area, the officer couldn't locate him at the time. However, the very next day, the suspect was tracked down and arrested. Do you think he really believed he could get away that easily? In April 2020, a high-speed police chase unfolded in Knaresborough, North Yorkshire, when officers attempted to stop a man riding a stolen Kawasaki motorbike. The bike was also uninsured, adding to the severity of the offense.
Boundary Street at Leyland in the Lance area. Insurance held Seaton June.
Have some units towards the 59 please. It's failing to stop. We're going up towards Flaxby roundabout.
The rider, Craig Heinsohn from Ripon, refused to comply and sped through built-up areas at dangerously high speeds, reaching up to 80 miles per hour in an effort to escape. His reckless riding raised serious concerns for the safety of pedestrians and other road users.
Charlie Victor Whiskey.
Can I don't pass please? He's messing about. He's still
driving.
Yes, camera is on. We just come to the Belgium roundabout. Speed is 20. Still failing to stop and is refusing to pull over. Turn down to Donnelly's dead end. If you can get a unit towards Donnelly's, please. And that's the roundabout at Flaxby.
The chase came to an end when the police vehicle managed to block Heinsohn from entering the A1 motorway. Instead, the Kawasaki was forced into a dead end, where it finally came to a halt, and Heinsohn was arrested. This is something you don't see every day. A motorcyclist was spotted driving recklessly, and when an officer attempted to initiate a traffic stop, the rider sped off, triggering a pursuit. The officer brought the motorcyclist down after a high-speed chase that reached 50 miles per hour. The rider was then taken into custody, effectively ending the pursuit. What are your thoughts on this chase? And how would you have handled the situation if you were the officer? On May 11, 2025, Trooper Randall Schwab attempted a traffic stop on a motorcycle close to Johnson, Arkansas, but the rider fled.
That's about neighborhood 72. Looks like we're going to be heading west. 12, back south 12.
The motorcycle weaved through major highways, residential neighborhoods, and apartment complexes in Fayetteville, making it difficult for units to intercept due to its small size and agility.
Yo, where's Duncan come out at?
That is unfortunate.
Despite multiple efforts to position ahead, the rider disappeared into a residential area, and visual contact was lost. Officers continued searching side roads and access points, but were unable to relocate the motorcycle. On March 5, 2023, Trooper Escamilla attempted to stop a motorcyclist due to reckless driving and the absence of visible license plates.
Just got on 440 east, no traffic, speeds are 70. 440 east at the 11. Just past the 12, speed 110. Coming up just took the 12. Getting on the highway 161. Might be a white male. South on 161 in Sunset. Coming up to Trammell. Speeds 90.
The suspect was driving recklessly, weaving through traffic like crazy, and reaching speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. The pursuit took place at night, making the situation even more dangerous for everyone on the road.
As slow as he's driving it, we might be able to bump him in or something and get him off the roadway. Just got on 40 West, approaching Spring Hill, speed 70. Just passed up Spring Hill, speeds 90. No traffic. Yeah, we're coming up on some traffic here. Speeds right now are 80. It's about to be passing on the shoulder shortly. west. 30 west. Speed.
The officer was doing his best to catch up with the suspect, who showcased impressive riding skills and narrowly avoided being caught several times. Despite this, the officer remained right on his tail throughout the entire pursuit. The pursuit came to an end when officers caught up with the suspect and made light contact with the motorcycle using the front bumper, causing the rider to crash. The suspect was then quickly apprehended with the help of a K-9 unit, placed in handcuffs, and taken into custody, bringing the intense chase to a close.
Crashed out. Just crashed.
I got it. Hey, look your hands right there.
On March 3, 2022, a trooper spotted a blue dirt bike on Shirling Drive in Bibb County. The rider wasn't wearing a helmet and ran a red light when the officer tried to initiate a traffic stop. The rider fled south on New Clinton Road, performing tricks during the pursuit. Trooper Barker joined and helped relay location updates to dispatch. The suspect made several evasive turns through local roads, including Millerfield Road, Willis Court, and Vacation Drive, often driving on the wrong side of the road and endangering others. After turning onto Donald Avenue, the suspect lost control and crashed. Officers boxed him in with patrol vehicles. The suspect ignored verbal commands and tried to get back on the bike. One trooper displayed his firearm while giving commands, and another officer physically restrained the suspect after he resisted arrest. Police chases in Brazil are the definition of speed meeting chaos, and this pursuit was no exception. It began when an officer spotted two people riding on a single motorcycle, both without protective gear and with expired license plates. That's when the chase kicked off. The suspects were driving recklessly, reaching dangerously high speeds for such narrow streets. But the officer stayed right on their tail, waiting for the right moment to make the arrest. The pursuit came to an end when the suspects crashed, giving the officer the opportunity to move in. They were promptly arrested and transported to jail. This pursuit began when an officer observed a motorcyclist riding without protective gear, which violated traffic regulations. When the officer attempted to initiate a routine traffic stop, the suspect chose to flee, sparking a high-speed chase. The suspect was driving recklessly throughout the pursuit, but it came to an end when he attempted a jump and crashed. The officer quickly approached, placed him in handcuffs, and later booked him into jail.
Si tiene problema judicial o no, tiene derecho a guardar silencio y a disponer de un abogado de su confianza. ¿Entiendes, mi amigo? Bueno, oye más alerta.
On June 22, 2021, Trooper Williams initiated a traffic stop, but the driver fled the scene. Trooper Magloire positioned himself ahead on Old Atlanta Road to block the suspect's path. The driver ignored stop signs and exhibited reckless driving, swerving onto the wrong side of the road and veering off the pavement into the grass median. Despite efforts to stop him, the suspect continued to evade capture, weaving through fields and parking lots. pursuit continued through multiple roads, including Glenwood Road and Kilgore Road, where the suspect dropped the bike and fled on foot into nearby woods. Deputies set up a perimeter, and Deputy Belcher found the suspect coming out of the woods behind 1237 Kilgore Road. The suspect, 17-year-old Thaddeus Walker, was taken into custody without incident. His identity was confirmed by fingerprint, and the case was turned over to Trooper Williams. A rainy day in Brazil was marked by a high-speed pursuit. An officer spotted a motorcyclist without license plates and attempted a routine stop, but the suspect chose to flee instead. This pursuit was challenging for both the officer and the suspect, not only because of the rain, but also due to the heavy traffic common in Brazil. Neither side was backing down, but the officer was patiently waiting for the right moment to bring it to an end.
Platino 4. Lite 1 me confirma, tenemos una parada. Lite 1, Platino 4. Vehículo sigue en movimiento. Sigue, Lite 1 sigue. Mándenme el apagado. Ya procedo a mandar el apagado,
The officer even drew his pistol and fired multiple shots at the suspect's motorcycle, hitting the rear tire and bringing the pursuit to an end. The suspect was then placed in handcuffs, and the chase was over. Was using a firearm the only way to stop him, or did the situation call for it? On April 11, 2021, Trooper Camarade and Trooper Tennant observed 3 dirt bikes on University Avenue. None of the riders were wearing helmets. The officers activated their emergency lights and attempted a traffic stop, but all 3 bikes sped away westbound on University Avenue.
Metro.
Trooper Tennant and Trooper Camarade blocked the rider's path, prompting him to briefly attempt escape onto the sidewalk before surrendering. Cavario Hunter was taken into custody without incident and transported to Atlanta Pretrial Detention Center. This pursuit was absolute madness. An officer spotted a speeding motorcyclist and attempted a routine stop, but the suspect immediately fled, sparking a dangerous chase.
¡Dale! ¡Dale!
This pursuit involved 2 suspects riding on one motorcycle, with multiple patrol officers on their bikes chasing them. The suspects drove recklessly through the neighborhood, desperately trying to evade the officers.
Pasaje 1825 al oeste.
The pursuit ended when officers successfully caught up with the suspects and blocked their path, preventing any further escape. The suspects were handcuffed and arrested, bringing the chase to a close.
Poné la mano atrás, hijo de puta. Dale. Listo, ya está.
On August 13th, 2021, a trooper observed a black motorcycle traveling eastbound on Victory Drive, near B Road in Chatham County, at 48 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone. When the trooper activated emergency lights and siren to initiate a traffic stop, the rider looked back and accelerated to flee.
Got a white male rider. All right, we stayed straight, back on Truman. Clear the right. Clear the left. Oh, we took a left on Cross Road, headed towards north on Skidaway, ringing north on Skidaway Road. It's hard once you get back into town right here. I got a left on Bayberry. We turned left on Bayberry.
The motorcyclist ran multiple red lights at Beaumont Drive, Bonabella Avenue, Duren Avenue, and La Roche Avenue without slowing. As the trooper reduced speed to drive with due regard, the suspect gained distance and turned west onto Bayberry Drive, where visual contact was lost. Emergency equipment was deactivated, Troop I Communications was notified that the pursuit was terminated, and a search of the area was conducted, but the motorcycle was not located. Pursuits in Brazil are known for being wild and chaotic, and this one was no exception. An officer spotted a stolen motorcycle and attempted to stop the rider, but the motorcyclist refused to pull over, knowing that stopping would likely land him in jail. By running, he believed he might have a chance to escape. The suspect initially managed to flee and evade the officers, but they stayed persistent in the pursuit. The next day, he was located, and multiple police motorcycles joined in to chase him down once again. The pursuit came to an end when the suspect drove into a dead-end street. Officers quickly moved in, placed him in handcuffs, and booked him into jail. Was it really worth the risk for a few more minutes of freedom? On January 3rd, Virginia State Trooper T.W. Fridley observed Lewis Edward Fields riding a motorcycle eastbound on Ford Avenue in Lynchburg. Fields was clocked at 83 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone and fled when the trooper attempted a traffic stop, running a red light at Ford Avenue and Wards Road.
right on Sussex. I just missed the last street.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get close. Got that load up.
The pursuit lasted nearly 10 minutes, during which Fields drove at speeds over 100 miles per hour, turned onto 9 different streets, drove in the wrong lane against traffic, and ignored multiple stop signs and signals. The chase was described as extremely dangerous by authorities.
Yeah, he's trying to get back to Ford, I believe. Now we're on Westview. Got gray sweatpants, a black and white jacket, black helmet.
I'm working my way there, but I'm 501 Sunny Mead.
Alright, I just passed one LPG. I got a pile up behind me. We're going Ford Avenue again, Jason. He's getting ready to turn. We're going Ford Avenue, that's Isle City. Going back Kinetics. Timberlake Road in the city. Going back Ford Avenue. I've got 4 or 5. We're trying to box them in. We got around. I'm actually cut the talk to Lincoln dispatcher. We got on the line. He's taking all these streets. I can't keep up, but I'm right on him.
About 7 minutes into the chase, Fields crashed on Long Meadows Drive while braking on wet grass. After a short foot chase, he was arrested and later pleaded guilty to felony eluding and driving on a suspended license. He faces up to 6 years in prison and remains in jail until his November 16th sentencing.
What you call my girl? Alright, we'll come check you out. Dude, I'm just getting old. Yeah, I'm gonna see what supervisor. Supervisor might have to work it, but I ain't 100% sure yet. We'll find out if dog will do it.
Ja keerab siis Sõle tänavalt Kolde tänavale ja liigub Ristiku suunas.
An officer in Estonia noticed a motorcycle with expired license plates and confirmed it through the system. When he attempted to stop the rider, the motorcyclist hit the gas and fled, sparking a pursuit.
Ja sõida Maljasaarest ees mul. Pane see peale. Kukub aias, aias.
The pursuit came to an end when the suspect crashed into a gate. He then attempted to flee on foot, but after a short chase, officers caught up with him and placed him in handcuffs. Was there ever really a chance he could outrun the law? On June 20th, 2015, during a high-speed chase exceeding 110 miles per hour, Sergeant Lonnie Soppeland pursued Matthew Hovland Knays. When Hovland Knays stopped his motorcycle, Soppeland exited his squad car with his gun drawn.
Your hands where I can see them. Hands where I can see them.
Yep, gotcha. Ready, start an ambulance. Oh! Okay, put it down. It's down. Okay. Oh! Here you go.
Soppeland explained that the gun accidentally discharged due to high stress and muscle memory from recent firearms training, with adrenaline playing a role. Hovland Knays was later convicted of fleeing police and the shooting was investigated and ruled unintentional. On March 28, 2017, a motorcyclist fleeing from Minnesota State Patrol at speeds over 130 miles per hour died in a crash near Forest Lake. After briefly losing sight of the suspect, troopers re-engaged the chase, during which the motorcyclist rear-ended a semi-truck on I-35 and was ejected from the bike. He was pronounced dead at the scene and later identified as 36-year-old Sam Nang Doan Len of Oakdale.